This is Taylor Hearn of the Texas Rangers, and you listen to the Ranger Report podcast.
This is the Ranger Report podcast. News, insights, predictions, interviews, and information about the Texas Rangers from the major leagues to the minor leagues. And now, here are your hosts, Ben Dieter and CJ Berryman.
Experience the joy of watching your friends and family's faces light up when you feed them wild game you harvested and made into delicious sausages, or meat you barbecue and grill with the finest seasonings available. Visit our friends at Waltons.com to find everything you need to turn wild game into tasty meat snacks, or spice up your barbecue with new flavors and seasonings. With over 500 seasonings to choose from, there's something that everyone will love. They even have step-by-step videos and how-to articles at Meatgistics to help you go from animal to edible. Use coupon Rangers15 at checkout to save 15% on your first order at Waltons.com. Waltons, everything but the meat.
All right, everyone, we are joined today by Taylor Hearn of the Texas Rangers. Taylor, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you guys doing? Thank you guys for having me.
All right, well, let's start today with the sort of a recap of the 2021 season. Now, you had a pretty good season in 2021, I'd say. We talked about you a lot on this podcast this year. You were 6-6. You had a 4.66 ERA. But you had some starts that were just brilliant. You had some great games. So in your mind, how do you feel like 2021 fared for you?
I thought overall, it was a really good year. A lot of up and downs, definitely a year of learning, and just more so just taking it day by day like I have been, and just kind of making adjustments on the fly, and definitely learned a lot about myself last year.
All right. So I don't know if you know, Taylor, but you got some new teammates. So How excited does that make you feel that the Rangers, the organization is putting that money in and getting some new guys in? So just kind of talk about what the past few days have meant to you.
They've been really good. Honestly, it's been a whirlwind, crazy day. It's been a pretty exciting last about 2 or 3 days. So yeah. So yeah, I mean, a lot of us are excited about it. I mean, I know I am. I'm glad I don't have to. I haven't got the chance to text Marcus yet, but I was going to tell him I'm happy he's on my team now. That way, I ain't got to face him no more. And then same thing with Corey. And then John Gray is a really, really good pitcher as well. I mean, he got really good stuff, and a local kid from Oklahoma. So it's good. It's exciting.
Could you do me a favor and ask Corey Seager if he could give me a loan?
I think he can give a lot of us a loan.
No, you mentioned John Gray, though. John Gray is a good pitcher. He pitched in Colorado, which is a hitter-friendly ballpark. Rangers ballpark, the new one, the field at Arlington, has been known more of a pitcher's ballpark. So do you think how do you think this is going to be for Gray? I know he's already done a great job. Do you think he's going to do well in Arlington?
I think he's going to do really well. I truly believe in our pitching coaches, and especially all the work that they've done with us individually, and especially as a pitching staff. I think that's one thing also people don't really give us a lot of credit for, is people think our pitching staff was terrible last year, and they're like, well, you guys didn't have any big name guys, and like it's not about us having big name guys. Like if you really looked at our staff and you really watched the games, like we had a really good staff. We had a point last year where after the starters came out, our whole bullpen for about, I think 15, 16 innings or something like that, 17 innings in a row. Like we didn't give up any runs. So I think it's a true testament to our pitching coaches and just how everybody's bought into it. And I'm guessing that the reports and stuff they put together for John Gray really sold him on it, because I for sure it was sold on a bunch of stuff they showed us, with the whole technology and just how to use it, but a good mix of old and new school.
Yeah, and you talked about the rotation, and you started out in the bullpen, like in a tandem situation And then they start ramping you up. And there's a lot of people that just don't understand how, that you ramp up your pitches, the pitch count. You can't just go out there and throw 130 pitches after, being in the bullpen for half the year. So kind of talk about that and how the ramp up is.
It's tough. Anybody that thinks that it's not easy, or anybody thinks it is easy, it's not. Especially in the middle of the season when you've been in the bullpen all year, and then they want to, ramp you up and try to get you built up as a starter. It's a tough thing, but I think the worst part about it is when I was getting ramped up towards the end of the season, I was facing all these playoff caliber teams.
Yeah.
So, and then, I think it was a huge test for me, but then just to show them what I could do, out of the bullpen and starting as well, because facing the Yankees, the White Sox, Astros, Angels, even though the Angels weren't a playoff team, you got to admit, they had one of the best hitters in the league, Shohei Ohtani. So, yeah. You got to give those teams credit.
All right. So you're from Royce City. Did you grow up a Rangers fan? You can be honest. Did you grow up a Rangers fan?
I grew up a Rangers, Cowboys, Dallas Burn, now Dallas Burn fan, now the FC Dallas. Grew up Stars fan. So, I was through and out Dallas, everything. Frisco Rough Riders, everything.
I was going to show you. Cowboys, baby.
Have to. I love it.
All right. So I've always wondered this. Years and years and years ago, I talked to Derek Holland. I asked him this question back. I'm pretty old. So I was looking at your birth date, and actually I graduated high school the year that you were born. So I'm pretty old.
I wouldn't say that.
But what does an off-season routine look like for a starting pitcher?
I think honestly, from being a starter and a bullpen guy, like the off season doesn't really change. Yes, everybody has their own personal routine, but I always take 3 weeks off once the season's over from lifting and throwing. And I start back throwing 3 weeks later, and then we started back lifting about, in November. So it's definitely one of the things where you don't want to take too much time off, because I feel like people forget that how long our season is. Like it's not a college season to where I can start throwing in December, November, or throwing in December and be ready to go in February. It's a tough thing because it's 162 games. It's and then especially in my case, like I just needed to make sure my arm strength is always the same, because jumping from starting to relieving, it's obviously a tough thing to do.
All right, now we're going to change it up on you a little bit. Is Jose Trevino one of the best ropers you've ever met?
Oh, I'd have to. Jose, you know what? Jose actually did get a lot better from the second time we did it. He got a lot better, but it's hard, man, because when Brock did it, Brock was just like a natural with it. It was great. It was funny because those two guys are. I think people don't give Brock enough credit for the type of character and stuff he is, because that's a great clubhouse guy. But if I had to pick one, I'd say Jose. Jose came a long way, so I'd give it to him. I
got to say, when that video came out last year, I hadn't laughed that hard in a long time. It was hilarious. It was so funny watching you actually teach him how to rope was really great. Now that's something that your dad, your granddad, like you did growing up, right? Roping.
Yeah. So it was my grandpa. He started it. And then it trickled down to my dad and his three brothers, and then it was, then it was my turn, So it was the first sport I ever did. So for people that don't really know, like people think like, well, was it basketball, football, baseball? Like, no, it was rodeo was the first one. So that's something that's always been ingrained in me. So it's something I can't really, I'm glad it's in there, but yeah, for sure, it was traveling a bunch and. Just similar to baseball. Let's just say that.
All right. Now we talked about you being from Royce City. Did you play other sports in high school, or did you just play baseball?
No. So when I got to high school, I stopped playing everything else, and it was just strictly rodeo and baseball.
All right. And so when you were growing up, and you started playing baseball, who did you want to be like?
Honestly, the guy I idolized was Dontrell Willis. And then I was a big fan of Randy Johnson as well. And then CeCe Sabathia. But yeah, those
all
type of guys. Anybody, there you go. Absolutely. All lefties, guys that threw hard, guys that were dominant on the mound, you know. So it was definitely I think that era, it was a great group of guys for me to look up to. And now that I'm at this level now, it's like I want to be able to be that for somebody else, to inspire them to want to play the game of baseball, or just to, you know, be a left-handed pitcher.
That's great. Now, a lot of people don't know because they don't keep up during the off season, just during the season. But if you would talk a little bit about your charity work, I know you just did something over Thanksgiving. So just talk a little bit about the charities you're involved with. Yeah.
So I did I started doing this thing. Started this year. It's called Taylor Hearn's Week of Giving. And so it's going to start off this year, and it's going to continue expanding each year. It's going to be something added onto it. But yeah, I worked with, I went to Kennedy Curry Middle School. I worked with, I'm going to work with the Boys and Girls Club, work with my brand and Brandon Hurtado. That's Hurtado's Barbecue. If you guys haven't had it, I highly recommend you guys go get it. And with the Rangers as well. So, I mean, it's some, and then the Arlington Life Shelter as well.
All right, bud. Well, we're winding down here. So now we're going to get to some serious questions.
Okay. All right.
What is your favorite at Wataburger?
Honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich, the meal, and then for breakfast, gotta go with the breakfast taquitos.
All right. Now I've got a question. My best friend Jace, he's been a fan of yours really since you got called up. He wanted to ask this question, so you're on the hot seat now. Are you ready?
All right, I'm ready.
What is the funniest thing either an opponent or a teammate has said to you while you were on the mound?
Oh, while I was on the mound, let's see, probably, so in 2020, when we were doing when they had the shutdown and everything, it was me, Jose, Joey Gallo, Willie Calhoun, Jose Leclerc. It was like 6-7 of us or whatever it was. And I remember we were doing live BPs, and I was facing them guys every day. And so I remember when me and Jose were going at it, I think it was me or him or somebody, one of us said it. We were like, hey, you get a hit right here. That's a Wataburger on the other person.
So there you go.
I remember facing him, and like he fouled some pitches off, and he was like getting all hyped up about it and everything. So, and I remember he hit a blooper in the gap, and like we were arguing back and forth talking about that's a hit. He was like, yeah, that's a hit. I was like, no, and you ain't running that at all. Like you're getting thrown out a second 5 miles ahead. So,
oh, that's fantastic,
man. Thank you guys for having me though. Seriously.
Yeah, you bet, man. We really do appreciate it.
We love it. We've been eyeing you for, well, almost a year. So
not in a creepy way.
Hey, no, it's fine. It's fine. I totally get it. You know, I try to, honestly, I love doing podcasts. I know like it's hard for smaller podcast people to get coming up. So like I try to do as many of them as I can, you know.
Thanks for listening to the Ranger Report podcast. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, and at therangerreport.com.